Welcome to Musings of a Cigarette Smoking Man. I'm Stephen Lee. It's April 29th, 2025, a Tuesday. Thanks for being with me. First I'm going to get it started. This is our first episode, or my first episode, because I'm the only one here. I'm just trying something out. Hopefully it works out. If it doesn't, oh well. The skin off my teeth. I want to start off by talking about Donald Trump. He's in the news every day. There's something new about him. And the left has built him into some sort of Hitler, for lack of a better word. Donald Trump is not a Hitler. It's quite obvious. Hitler was responsible for the extermination of millions of people in a world war. Donald Trump lowered your taxes. He hurt your feelings. But he's only done things that have been controversial, but they've not been anything out of the ordinary that other presidents haven't been talking about doing forever. And when you start burning shit down and firebombing Tesla dealerships and painting swastikas and protesting, the country is watching, and it's lost its taste for the Democratic Party. Republicans would love nothing more than for Democrats to keep acting like assholes and making an ass of themselves. Rioting and this borderline domestic terrorism is good for Republicans. All Republicans have to do is not just sit back and watch people leave the Democratic Party in droves. I am proud of my Republican people. You know, the election of 2020 was arguably stolen. And there's good evidence that points to that. And the silent majority didn't go out and riot, and they didn't burn shit down, they didn't start shooting things. They went about their lives and waited patiently for the next election to vote and made their voice heard the legal way. And they did. And all of this talk on the left about how MAGA men are dangerous and all this is total nonsense. MAGA guys are among the most law-abiding of all citizens in this country. And it's obvious to anyone paying attention who the good guys are in this. And history is going to vindicate Donald Trump and MAGA. RFK joining this movement was exactly what it needed. It was exactly what the country needed. The CIA killed this man's family. And for him to dedicate his life to public service in such a public way, and risk losing his Democrat friends and making a stand, is noble at the very least. And he's gone out of his way and is bending over backwards to do the right thing and do right by the American people. And there are rumors founded on evidence from trusted voices that Mossad is blackmailing RFK, and that this is going to come out and be a major scandal soon. I don't doubt it. That's what they do. Mossad and Israel, the Israel lobby, AIPAC, AIPAC, is the most powerful lobby in the country and puts Israel's needs above the needs of American citizens, and it's been going on for a long time. One could argue for hundreds of years, ever since the founding of the Federal Reserve and our subjugation by European central banks. We have to get free of the bankers, or our kids are going to be sent off to wars every generation, forever. The way the Federal Reserve is set up now, we are paying interest on money that is ours to begin with. we're paying the value of the money that we are getting quote unquote loaned for a clerical service. The Federal Reserve is a clerical service. The banking industry is a clerical service. All they're doing is greasing transactions for global trade. They're not the only ones capable of doing this, and we should be doing it ourselves with constitutional money. Most all our problems can be solved by getting back to a constitutional monetary system. The wars, the hyperinflation, the boom and bust cycles, it all revolves around fractional reserve banking and privately owned European central bankers owning us. We don't have sovereignty until this is corrected. And Donald Trump, if he's worth his salt as a public servant, is going to look into this and do everything he can to correct this. But it's cost presidents their lives before. It's come out in the JFK files that the Israel lobby, who's behind the international central banking, combined with the British Crown, basically worked with CIA to murder JFK because of Executive Order 11110, which would have axed the Federal Reserve and created a constitutional monetary system. That's really why he died. That's really why JFK died, was our money. And the world is set up to run off money. And the quicker you come to that understanding, the quicker you can get out of these self-defeating loops and actually make smart choices and look at the world more critically. I hear a lot on the news about this trade war with China. China is a vassal state of the deep state. They are damn near powerless. They have only marginal power when cooperating by the billions. We have so much more superior technology. All China does is memorize and steal. They teach their children to memorize. They're not good at creative thinking or coming up with new ideas. They have what they have because it was given to them by us. BlackRock has sucked up money from residential investments in residential housing and reinvested that money rapidly into China to prop up an over-the-horizon enemy, to be the boogeyman. China, we've got them surrounded by the first island chain in the South China Sea. They're super fucks. They can't do shit. And Americans do not need to be worrying about China. Anything that they do is going to be done by our deep state. Our military could take out China in a long weekend. There's really nothing to worry about. And that's my biggest message to people, is that America is so powerful, and our power has become even more entrenched in the last 10 to 15 years. We have no real enemy. Every war we fought since the end of World War II has been fighting controlled opposition run by CIA. And we don't have any competition. And even if we did somehow have competition, we have decades upon decades of exotic technology unknown to the rest of the world, waiting for an excuse to be brought into the world. The economic bargaining power of American citizens is so powerful. It can defeat ancient gods and all the communist hordes of Asia combined. I mean, there's just no contest. So I tell people, get off your phone, stop being told what to think and what to do and what to be afraid of by the media. The media is controlled by government. It's an advertising arm of the ruling class. And the legacy media is dying, but it's going to make a lot of noise as it goes. Independent media from internet like Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, these are people that people actually like. They're entertaining, and they're giving you better information than you get from legacy media. The only people watching legacy media like CNN and MSNBC are boomers in nursing homes. Everybody else is on independent media from internet. RFK has been talking about banning or decoupling the scheduling of the COVID vaccine for children, which is obvious. It's the obvious right thing to do. Kids have such a minuscule chance at dying from COVID. It's not worth the risk that vaccines propose. Vaccines are inherently dangerous. It's just how they function, and it's not worth the risk they pose to the vaccine injured. To vaccinate kids with COVID against COVID, it's just a stupid risk, and that's not even getting into the arena of the shits. Both the vaccine and the virus were designed to kill people, and that this was brought out intentionally to shove communism and authoritarianism down our throats, which is what happened. It was obvious to anyone paying attention. I've talked to medical doctors, and they've all said the COVID virus is man-made. It contains the HIV spike protein, which the odds of that happening in nature are in the hundreds of trillions to one. It's just not possible. And the way the Biden administration and Democratic leadership used it in tandem with the media to shut shit down and threaten people with jail for wanting to be in charge of their own health care and wanting to live their life without fear. It's just a shameful display of commie authoritarianism by the left. And I hope Donald Trump and Republicans take their power and do good with it. We need more freedom, and we need to enshrine bodily autonomy in the Constitution. That's the best thing we can do, besides tribunals for Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci and all in government involved in this COVID scandal. COVID was the single biggest event in human history, by far, that will have evolutionary consequences forever. So, I mean, it's a crime against humanity, and if we don't do something about it by bringing these people to justice, we have not seen the end of the consequences of the COVID hoax. People are still going to be developing cancers for decades to come, and the damage has not all been done yet. So we're still in the middle of it. Switching gears a minute, I'm an artist. My dad doesn't like that I call myself that, but I don't know how else to describe myself. I grew up in the rural South, in a place called Rock Hill, South Carolina, or actually York, South Carolina. But it's such a small town, nobody knows of it. So I grew up playing baseball and playing in the woods with my cousins and riding dirt bikes and shit like that. And my dad built me a baseball field in our front field with his tractor, where me and my teammates and literally played and practiced all the time. And I've always said I've had pretty amazing parents that have always been supportive. Not many kids get their own baseball field and dirt bike tracks in the woods. It was pretty damn idyllic. And then in high school, I wrestled, ran cross country, and played baseball. I was a pitcher and third baseman. I went undefeated as a starting pitcher my senior year, 7-0. It was all region and defensive MVP for my team. and still, I think, hold a school record for lowest ERA, which was 0.49. My senior year, I had an appointment to West Point, but about 2 weeks before shipping up to New York, I was diagnosed bipolar by a psychiatrist, and he told me that the reason I was such an overachiever was because I was bipolar, and I was not comfortable serving, not being 100%. So I decided to do something fun and study writing and try to be good at that. So I stayed home and cut my teeth developing my craft by myself in my little farm, my apartment on my farm, for 10 years basically without doing much else. And because of it, I now have a skill, which should be about 20 years now. I now have a skill where words kind of flow easy now. But it was not always that way. My stuff was crappy, angsty, teenage, depressive, fucking crap when I started, but I just didn't give up and worked hard. So in 2007, I was a semi-finalist for the PEN Emerging Voices Fellowship in UCLA. And although I didn't get to go out to Los Angeles for that fellowship, I did get a bona fide credential on my credits, to my credit. I was published in 2022 by Black Book Press and the Beatnik Cowboy, and put in an anthology of North Carolina Bards 2022, and again in 2023. My poem Truth and Soft Days were in those. I'm most faithfully published at the moment by the Beatnik Cowboy, my friend Chris Butler. He's a real good friend of mine and a good guy. Runs that magazine, and I really like it. They've always been good to me. I have a website, stephenleak.com, where I put my ebook of my first apprenticeship unpublished novel, Unplugged. Is free for download by just giving me your email. And I always take donations, but it's free otherwise. And I also have a free ebook of my latest poetry collection, Truth is Power, with the same deal. It's free. I just ask if you can, if you enjoy it, send me $1 or whatever you can spare. I live off my creative endeavors full time, and it's what I live off: contributions and donations to people who read my stuff. I've also got a double album coming out, Truth is Power and Love Kills. They're already out on Bandcamp, and I've got a website, stephenleakmusic.com, where I'm putting out my own music straight to customers. So check me out there, stephenleak.com, and thanks for listening. We'll do it again.